Hi, 5th graders. Today we are talking about Lesson 5 of the 5th grade textbook, Jacob the Tribal Father.
George and Sarah are cousins. They are both in 5th grade and they love playing games outside. George likes soccer and Sarah likes dancing. They both love going to church every Sunday.
Hi, Grandma. What are you doing?
Hi, Sarah. Hi, George. I'm baking cookies. Do you want to help me?
Yes, I love baking cookies.
Grandma, can you tell us a story while we help you make cookies?
Of course I can. Have you both heard the story of Jacob, the son of Isaac?
I never heard of that story. I want to hear it.
Do you remember who were Jacob's parents?
It was Isaac and Rebekah. He also had a brother named Esau.
That's right, Sarah. So according to the Jewish tradition, the eldest son is the one that deserves the right of the firstborn. Even though Isaac was younger than Esau, God chose the younger son Jacob. God promised Rebekah that even when Jacob was in her womb, I would select him. One day, Jacob was cooking some stew. Esau saw the delicious stew and told Jacob, "Let me eat some of that red stuff, for I am famished." In reply, Jacob told Esau that if Esau were to give him the right of the firstborn, then he would give him the stew.
Did Esau sell his birthright?
Yes, Esau sold his birthright for a bowl of stew.
So Jacob got the birthright and Esau got the only one bowl of stew?
That's right. When Isaac was old, he wanted to give his final blessing to Esau, who was supposed to have the birthright. Rebekah, on the other hand, wanted Jacob to receive the final blessing. Rebekah told Jacob of his father's desire.
What did Jacob do?
Jacob brought some of his flock, and Rebekah prepared from them a meal for Isaac. Since Esau had hair all over his body, but Jacob had smooth skin, Rebekah made Jacob wear the costly dress of Esau. Jacob gave Isaac the meal that was prepared by Rebekah.
Well, did Isaac mistake Jacob for Esau?
Yes, and Isaac gave the final blessing to Jacob. Esau realized that Jacob received the final blessing and he got furious.
Was Jacob scared of Esau?
Jacob was so scared of Esau that Jacob fled to Paddan-aram to stay with Laban, Jacob's uncle. On his way to stay with Laban, Jacob came to a place and stayed there for the night. He had a dream while he was sleeping. He saw a ladder set up on the earth, the top of which reaching the heaven, the angels of God ascending and descending on it. The Lord stood on top of the ladder and said, "I am the Lord, God of Abraham, your father, and the God of Isaac. The land on which you lie I will give you and your offspring. Your offspring shall be innumerable, and the dust of the earth. All tribes of the earth shall be blessed through you and through your offspring." Then Jacob finally woke up and he named the place Bethel.
What does the word Bethel mean?
I know. Bethel means house of God.
That's correct. Later, when Jacob was returning from Laban to Esau one night, a man wrestled with Jacob until daybreak. When it was dawn, the one who wrestled with Jacob expressed his desire to set forth. But Jacob said, "I will not let you go unless you bless me." Then he replied, "You shall no longer be called Jacob, but Israel, for you have striven with God and with humans and have prevailed."
Was this a revelation from God?
Yes, this was a revelation. Jacob claims that he has seen God face to face. Jacob named that place Peniel. Do you both know what Israel and Peniel mean?
Israel means the one who wrestled with God.
Peniel means the face of God.
You're both correct. God continues to intervene with Jacob through his life.
Did Jacob ever get married? Did he have kids?
Jacob married both Leah and Rachel. He worked for Laban for 20 years and eventually moved to Canaan. Jacob had 12 sons. Do you know any of his sons' names?
One of his sons' name was Joseph.
That's right. When famine was severe in Canaan, Jacob went to Egypt according to God's plan. He gave his final blessing to all his children. His fourth son Judah inherited the right of the firstborn. He too was buried in the same place where his ancestors were buried.
Thanks for telling us the story, Grandma.
We really like that story.
I'm glad that you both like the story. I will tell you another story next week. Remember, always to live in accordance with God's plan, just like how Jacob lived.
Let's do some questions. How did Jacob get the right of the firstborn? Explain the instances when Jacob encountered God. How did Jacob get the name Israel? Let's memorize our Bible verse. Psalms chapter 145, verse 13. The Lord is faithful in all his words and gracious in all his deeds. Activity. At Peniel, Jacob wrestles with God, and God blessed him. What are the practical implications of Peniel incidents in your life?
Come on, George, let's go eat the cookies that Grandma made.
Yay! Cookies!
See you next week, children. Don't forget to pray to God daily, to memorize the Bible verse, and to do the activities.